Oh,
you for
good.
sharing.
I think Gina just hopped
Morning,
on.
ladies. How are you?
We're good.
I'm good.
We're talking away.
I love it. First off, Bree, thank you so much again for yesterday.
Oh, you're welcome. Thank you for
She
letting
did a
me.
great job.
Of course
Thank
you did. I knew she would. So thank you. So, all right, you all. I have about 3 hours of sleep underneath my belt. So yeah,
Oh,
Oh
Lord.
no.
I know it's a rough one.
Did
but
you
that's okay.
drive back?
Yeah, I drove back. So I got to bed around 3 o'clock in the morning. So I definitely slept in today, but anyway, enough of that. All right. Kay, tell me some fabulous news. What do you got?
Well, my fabulous news was I was telling Brianna that, I brought up yesterday, I was a little concerned because I had this house that I got, I put on to rent and I hadn't gotten much feedback. I think there was a glitch with showing time. But I called them and talked with them, got it straight. I said, this is a go and show, just do it.
Yeah.
So she introduced me to Rentometer and I put my property on Rentometer to see if my pricing was right.
Mhm.
And I'm in the bottom third.
So there is I love Rentometer, by the way. There is
It was a
reason for
great
that.
little tool. I loved it.
Yeah. I've used that for years when I've gone into other areas. Like when we rented in the Bay Area, we rented for a year. We rented here for 6 months. So it's a great little tool. So
I was telling her, I said, the 25th percentile is 2170. My property's at 2275. The median is 2500. So I'm below the median. The average is 2471. I'm below the average.
yeah.
So I thought my pricing when I looked at the comps was pretty spot on.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's just, and it's an expensive area and it basically said that.
Yeah.
It's in one of the most expensive areas in San Antonio. So
Yeah.
if I can sell it, it would be great.
Yep. You want some Riverwalk, you're paying for it.
Yeah. So anyway, I talked to my client. I sent her a text because I know she's working and, I just said, here's what happened. Here's the only feedback I've gotten. I did this to check it out and our pricing still looks like we're right on the money. So let's let it sit for another, week, 10 days. And if not, then we'll talk about, price reduction. But
Yep.
I said, right now, I think we're good.
Awesome sauce. I love it. All right. Miss Bree, let's hear some good news.
Well, I almost wrote an offer for 5 properties.
Wow.
So a lady called me and knew that I worked with investors.
Mhm.
And I found an investor that was willing to buy the 5 properties, but his price was low.
Mhm.
So she was nice enough to let me know before we submitted the offer how we fared.
Right.
So he wasn't willing to come up.
Gotcha.
So, but it was nice to be recognized.
Yeah.
Yeah. Congratulations. All right, Stormtrooper Michael, what's your good news?
I'm alive.
Yes, you are.
Yay.
But barely. Well, you're probably safe. Stormtroopers can't hit anything.
Yeah, this is
Oh,
true.
I love his background.
I know, it's cool.
That's Disney's.
Yeah, it's a good ride. It's very impressive when it first opens up and you see all those Stormtroopers.
Why did I forget the name of it?
I don't know. It did Star Warsy, whatever.
Yeah, crap. I can't remember.
Rise of
Galaxy.
the Empire
No.
or something. Who knows?
Yeah, I can't remember now. We ride it every time we go there.
Yep.
Not
So,
much. Same old thing.
you have
Can't get my
something
computer
good.
to
Cough
work.
it up. Yeah.
Do what?
You have something good. Cough it up.
You're closing today.
There you go.
oh,
It costs me more to do your closing and drive there and back and forth than it does what I make. Oh yeah,
You're
that's a
not-
really good one.
Yeah, you're not kidding there. You're really, really not. Like stupid expensive gas.
If I didn't love you, I wouldn't have done it.
Well, there you go. I'm feeling it, honey.
Yeah.
It used to cost $25 to fill up my tank, and now it's costing $60 to fill up my tank, which is nuts because my car is like this big. So, and so
Yep.
is my tank.
Cost me $99.
Oh, good Lord.
Reason I bought this Equinox was because it was a 16-gallon tank and it was cheap to fill up because my dually truck, I can't, it's 120 bucks,
Right.
130 bucks fill up diesel.
Right.
And so I bought this purposely,
Right.
and then now I'm paying 60 bucks, what used to be $22. It's like ridiculous.
Exactly. I don't know how big the tank is in my car. It's probably, I don't know. It's more than 13. I know that because it takes at least 13 gallons, but it's just stupid. It's just literally stupid. So, Nellie, what's your good news?
Good morning. Oh, good news, good news, good news. No good news. Okay.
Pop up something.
It's nothing to do with real estate. Moving in, I have to move out of here, and I'm gonna be moving in with who I call my Mama Sue, hopefully. Till things.
That's cool.
It hasn't been confirmed yet, but I'm sure it will.
All right. So my good news, I got back from EXPCon super late last night. It was really, really good. Let me see. I think I'll tell the Stanford story. Oh no, I'll do this quote. This quote blew my brains wide open. Jay Shetty was a guy doing it who I've never heard of, and apparently he's been on all kinds. I mean, they've flashed 1 billion television shows, like big name stuff that he's been on. I'm like, I have no clue who this guy is. Anyway, Brit, and he said this. He said, "I am not who I think I am. I am not who you think I am. I am who I think you think I am."
Oh. Wow. Perception.
Yeah, it blew me away because he said, think about it. When you're with another person and you think that person thinks you're brilliant or amazing or whatever, loved, I mean, whatever it is, and you know that they think that about you, you feel one way versus when you know that person is disdainful or, thinks whatever about, and you know it. It doesn't, it just makes you feel completely different. And I'm like, that is so good. That is really, really good. I literally had to sit there for a little while and kind of mess with that in my head going, yeah, I like that. That's very good. So I'm not who I think I am. I'm not who you think I am. I'm who I think you think I am. It's like, So anyway, it was an amazing event. It was really good. We're going to write down as a group, all of us that went are going to write down our stuff and then put it all together. And then we'll do a team meeting and kind of share all the great tips and tricks and things that we've learned and that we're going to be building into our business. But it was good. All right, challenges. What do we got? Who's got challenges?
Mindset.
What was that?
Mine is mindset.
Mindset. Talk about what exactly?
So I've been not balanced, in life. And I've been just stressing over work. And so, how do I describe it? Mindset. So my mindset's not been balanced. So I keep thinking, okay, there's no time for recovery and reflection. So I feel like which now I'm walking in my favorite place, trying to get my mind straight about what I need to do, like just downtime, recovery time. Because I wasn't being productive stressing about work.
All right. I really love that, especially because that came up for me during this conference. Whenever I go to a conference like this, Gary and I were talking about it. And he's like, you should hone it down to 3 things that you got out of it, 1, 2, or 3, no more. Like write down all your points, but then the 1, 2, or 3 things I go that you really kind of want to work on. I go, yeah, and then build the action plan in there into your business
Right.
of how to execute that 1, 2, or 3 things, but really hone it down because you have all this great information coming at you. And one of my things was realizing I don't take the time to just quietly reflect on my business and who I am and and what it is I want to do. And when you talk to the big money, the really,
Right.
really big money, they all aren't playing checkers, they're playing a game of chess. And
Right.
they will sit and strategize and think and process about their lives and what they want it to look like in business and how, and Gary told me this also. So just kind of putting it all together, he said, big money is 1 to 2 years ahead of the curve on everything that's going on financially. They're 1 to 2 years ahead. They can see, and then they're making their moves to be able to take advantage of it. And so sometimes when you work with really, really, really big money, you might only work for a transaction or 2 or 3. And when everything shifts, which it's going to, then
Right.
that big money is going to go because it's going to go put its money into something else. That's a year or 2 ahead that they're taking advantage of. And yeah. And as I was kind of processing through, I know that I don't take time. Okay, so I'm going to ask this. Who here takes regular time to not do anything but just think? Just a regular time, be it monthly or quarterly or daily or whatever it is. Does anybody here do that where they block it out just to think, thinking time?
You get as old as I am,
Today.
that's all you do.
Yeah.
I actually do that with life plan.
Do you?
Yeah,
How often do you do it?
more than I should. Yeah, I said, what do I do if I do this? It would, I look at my options. Yeah. I
Yeah.
actually-
So what I'm talking about is no agenda time. No agenda, no anything, just. So so Greg and I were in, where were we? Atlantic City in January, which is not like someplace I ever want to be, but whatever, we were there. And there's a hotel that we know that the whole top of the hotel has a whole section of it's sand on in this hotel. It's sand and 2 Adirondacks and like a little fence. And then there's section after section in front of a huge pane of glass that overlooks the ocean. And it's one of our favorite spots. And there's nobody in Atlantic City in January in the morning. I mean, there's just nobody there. So we grabbed coffee and we walked up to that hotel. And then we found a couple of Adirondacks. And there's like literally, there's an old guy reading way down at the other end. And that's pretty much it. Security guard walking through every hour or something like that. But there's nobody there. And we just sat there and drank our coffee and stared at the ocean. And we were there a couple of hours. And Greg looked at me at one point and he goes, "You're really quiet and you're still." And I'm like, yeah, because I'm in front of the ocean and just no agenda, no nothing. And so my mind has got all kinds of interesting things that are interacting in there. And he goes, because he likes that when I'm calm and still. And he's like, "You're never calm and still." I'm like, "Put me in front of the ocean." I'm fine.
Right.
But
You're talking about meditation.
yes, a form of meditation. And the last time that I really did that was when I was in Telluride. I was at the top of a mountain. Have I told you guys my Telluride story?
Uh-uh.
I'm going to tell you my Telluride story. So I was in Telluride, Colorado. I was at the very top of a mountain. I'm like, I don't know, 12,000 feet up or something like that. I mean, it's crazy high, right? It's way like twice as high as Denver. And I'm in this Adirondack chair and there is nobody there. It is in between ski season and festival season. And literally Greg and I have the entire mountain to ourselves. You ride a gondola to the top. We got off at the very top of the mountain and we wandered a little bit and we found these Adirondack chairs and I sat down in an Adirondack and it's morning and I'm overlooking the most stunning scene. So it's snow-covered mountains and then silver rock and then red rock and green trees, Red Rock, and then a little tiny village way down at the very bottom. And you can smell pine, and it's warm sun, and it's just stunning. And 2 weeks before, I was in a hospital dying, but I didn't know it. What had happened was I got hit by a motorcycle when I was a teenager, threw me 35 feet, and nobody checked my stomach at the time, but what it did was caused all these problems where now scar tissue forms in my stomach, and it wraps around my intestines or wraps around different parts of my body and tries to take me down about every 10 years. So I've had 3 major surgeries where this thing has tried to take me down. And this one, what it happened to do was it wrapped around my intestines and shut my entire system down. And the only reason that I went to the doctor, because I was puking every 20 minutes for 2 days solid, and had I gone one more day, I would not have made it, was because I started hyperventilating from the pain. And if you hyperventilate, if anyone's in the medical field, they will know this, you will literally paralyze, and your hands will start to go like this, and you will start to paralyze from here down and your extremities up. And so I'm laying in bed, and that starts to happen to me, and I'm starting to paralyze, and I don't know what's going on. I think I'm having a stroke. I have no idea. I started screaming at my husband, like, Greg, call 911, 911, 911. And Greg's in there calling him. And I've been 2 days puking every 20 minutes. Like, this is so not a pretty picture, but I'm naked in bed. I'm sweaty. I'm gross. It's just disgusting. I'm dehydrated massively. And he's calling 911, and he gives him all the information. And then he needs to get ready, and he needs to help me get clothes on. So he doesn't want to talk to 911 anymore, and they want to keep you on the phone. And so Greg is like, I'm done talking to you because you're just repeating now, click. And so they're calling back nonstop. And I'm like, I need jammies, dude. So he throws me the clothes, and I can put them on, but I can't button anything because my hands are like this. And I'm like, I can't button anything. Help me out. So he's helping me get dressed, and then 911 comes, and they whisk me away. And the doctor's like, we're gonna have to cut you stem to stern. And I'm like, I don't care. Like, you do whatever you got to do. I do not care. Right. So they could do it laparoscopy. Anyway, so when I get out of the hospital, when I get done, they're like, you're going to be in the hospital 5 to 7 days. And then they kick me out after 2.5, basically 3 days, because I pissed the nurses off, and I was ready to go home anyway. When I was ready to go home, the doctor said 5.5 weeks off of work. I'm like, yeah, no. And he goes, yes. And I'm like, yeah, no. I said, I know me, and I'm not in any pain. I feel great. You fix the problem. I'm good to go. I have a desk job. I'm good. And I worked through everything. Like, I broke my leg, walked across the street to the hospital, got it fixed, and came back to work. I mean, I worked through everything. And he's like, you don't understand. If you do not take 5.5 weeks off, your insides are going to rub like this, and the scar tissue is going to recreate, and you're going to be right back in here again, and we're going to be going through this again. I'm like, 5.5 weeks it is. So I told my husband on the way home, I said, I want to go to Colorado. And he's like, are you nuts? And I'm like, maybe, but I want to go to Colorado. I'm like, I know me. If you leave, I've never been to Colorado. If you leave me here, I'm going to go to work. The doctor told me to walk on flat paved surfaces. I said, I live in San Francisco. Like, this is not going to happen. No flat paved surfaces. And he said, you will drive to flat paved surfaces and walk there. And that's all you're going to do for 5.5 weeks. So I said, I want to go to Colorado. I'm like, I promise I'll follow the doctor's orders. I don't think there's going to be anything healthier than me in the sunshine in the car and me walking on flat paved surfaces. So we did. We took off. We were gone for 5 weeks. We toured Colorado, Utah, Nevada, Arizona. I purposely planned out these lonely, scenic trips, and we did this huge loop. On that trip, I knew that God had been telling me to quit my job. I was a team leader, and after I've been doing 7 years as a team leader, I knew that I was supposed to be leaving, but I wouldn't do it because I couldn't figure out what I was supposed to be doing, and I wasn't paying attention. So when I lay there in that hospital, I'm like, all right, you got my attention, God. Like, I'm along for the ride. Let's take some time and think now. And I had, for 7 years, I'd not taken time to think. So I was paying attention on this trip and just really listening and watching. And I just kept on seeing amazing things that I was watching. Like, I saw a 3-legged dog cross the road, and it was the happiest 3-legged dog. It was the happiest dog I've ever seen in my entire life. It's just the happiest dang dog. And little things that I'm like, okay, that's amazing. 3 legs, and he's hopping along, and he's so happy. So we get into the ride. We take the gondola to the top. Greg's wandering through the mountain to take pictures. I'm not, because it's not flat and paved. It's, mountain. So I am just sitting in this Adirondack overlooking the mountains. And I'm like, okay, God, like what? Like, what is it? And really clearly, he's like, I want you to teach, and I want you to teach people this. And I was like, all right. And I had peace. And then all of a sudden, out of the middle of nowhere comes the biggest dog I've ever seen in my life, this big, huge Newfoundland, big, black, hairy, looks like a Saint Bernard, but solid black, sits down next to me, boom, Burmese mountain dog, whatever. No, I think it was Newfoundland. Sits down next to me, boom. And I'm like, and my butt's in an Adirondack, so I'm petting the dog like this. I mean, it's huge, right? Huge, his head's up here. And I'm just like, we're alone on a mountain in the middle of nowhere, and a dog shows up. And the only thing missing is like the whiskey barrel, which would have been nice.
Right.
That's not there. And so I'm petting the dog, and then Greg comes back and he's like, what's with the dog? I'm like, I don't know. And he goes,
Right.
where'd it come from? I'm like, I don't know. And he goes, well, what's its name? And I'm like, good question. And it has a collar, I swear to God, is this wide, with a tag that's the size of an Olympic medal. It's like this. And so I turn it around so I can flip over the tag to see what his name is. And her name is Sophia, which means wisdom. And I'm like, and I'm like, all right. So Sophia sat with me there for another 5 or 10 minutes, but her job was done. And then she got up and wandered away. God knows where, I have no idea. And I spent the rest of that trip just processing and thinking. And I spent 5 weeks of just no agenda, no anything. And that's was in 2018. I went back to Keller Williams. I quit my job. I wanted to do 3 months. I was willing to give them 3 months. They asked for a year. I gave them 9. And that was the beginning of opening up my coaching company, and then eventually working for Gary and really examining what is it that you're supposed to be doing and what direction do you want to go. And I was at this event. I was processing and listening to all of these, Kevin Harrington from Shark Tank, Nick, the guy with no arms and no legs, Jay Shetty, whoever that other guy is, Tony Robbins' son, Jarek. And I'm listening to all of these people that are uber successful in life, and all of them take time to just think. And if they can do it, we can do it. And so I was talking to my accountability buddy, David Edwards, on the team today. And I literally said, I'm going to take time. I'm going to carve it in my schedule. And he's like, are you thinking daily? And I'm like, no, I think just once a month, to get out somewhere in a mountain or by an ocean, and not be like, when we usually, like if we go to the ocean, like we might, if we're going to stop and not do anything, we'll like sit at the restaurant, have a couple of drinks and look out of the ocean. Not that, just alone, no agenda, no nothing, and just think and let whatever happens, happens.
That's meditation. It should be, I should have been, they recommend daily. But it doesn't happen.
Gary does it. Gary does daily quiet time to just, he says, if you get up at 4 o'clock in the morning, just take the time and think. Because if you have to get up to go to the bathroom, just stay up and think. So that's how he takes advantage of it in his life. Because we talked about this also. So I guess my question to you would be, when was the last time you just stopped and thought?
Can't think of it.
What was that?
I can't think of a time that I've done that.
See?
And it's interesting that you bring this up, because my therapist literally was like, once a month, I need for you to get away and do nothing. Like, literally, he told me that last week.
Universe is talking to you.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And I'm doing this hard 75 challenge that's kicking my butt. So you do 45 minutes of outdoor activity, anything outdoor with nature, walk, yoga, whatever, as long as it's outside, swimming, and then 45 minutes of anything like inside, push-ups, sit-ups, whatever. Drink a gallon of water. Eat right, whatever that looks like for you, and journal.
Mm,
Oh, and read 10 pages a day
I've
of
seen that done
nonfiction.
before. You're right.
So I fell off the wagon yesterday because I didn't get my outdoor activity. I
Mhm,
fell off the wagon the day before because I didn't get my water.
mhm.
So I've already had a liter of water and I'm pacing it instead
Right.
of like thinking I have to guzzle it. But I guess, Nagme, you're right. The universe is talking to me.
Yep.
Also, can I just a suggestion? We put such high accomplishments, and you reach half of it, and then when you don't reach the other half, you feel like you didn't accomplish. Focus on what you do,
Yes,
and push it to the next level. Because
yes.
yeah, because
Yeah.
This is Kay. I have a question.
Yeah.
When I do that, I often fall asleep. What is that telling me? I'm tired?
The
Yes.
meditation part and thinking, me too. Me too. If I'm not rested up, I will fall asleep. And I don't know, Gary might be maybe we'll have Gary do something on this also. Gary does this he does meditation on a regular basis. Maybe we can put together, I'll ask him if it's appropriate to do a small group or something on it. Because I
Yeah.
agree with you, me too.
it's I was in a meditation group for like a year. We'd meet a couple hours on the phone, Zoom.
Mhm.
In the beginning you'll do that, but eventually you start like, and it's good. That means you're really relaxing, but
So I
eventually
thought
change.
Yeah.
I thought meditation was a quiet, peaceful time, not with other people.
Yeah.
No, there is
Or,
a
well, you can do it without
there's different kind of meditations. There's so many
Right.
different.
I meditate every night about 12 o'clock to about 4 o'clock in the morning.
Eyes closed. That's what Kay was talking
Different kind
about.
of meditation, and there is a group. Someone talking to you has a music, and it's when we did the Zoom thingy, it wasn't like we're all talking. We actually said prayers together and talked about something and meditated on it, talked about it, read scriptures about it from wherever, poems, whatever that was uplifting, and then she led us to meditation and
like
I'm afraid
guided meditation.
guided meditation.
I'm
And
afraid if I share my prayers, they might put me in jail.
it'll filter. It'll eventually filter.
I, someone gets a hold of that recording, they'll lock me up for the things I pray about.
Oh, you're funny, Michael.
Well, I did
Some of the clients I deal with, my prayers don't need to be known.
I prayed for at least 10 years that my ex would die. I am not joking. Please, God, hit him with a bus. I am dead serious. God never did answer that one. The man is still alive. So,
Well, God answered your prayers.
yeah, I'm
Just-
not there anymore.
Just because he doesn't do something means he didn't answer it.
It's
Right.
true.
You know,
He answers.
you don't know what problems he's got now, but you know yours.
That's what you say. You know what? You know best. This is what I want. Give me what's best for me.
Exactly.
Now, just get the hell out of the way and raise my bank account. That's all I care about.
That's funny. So, Bree, I was just talking with David today. I'm going to commit to an hour, or not an hour. I'm going to commit to one day a month, something, even if all I do is just go be in my backyard and have all that nature around me in my backyard. But there's going to have to be, there's just going to be thinking time built in on a regular scheduled time to process through my life.
I do that every day. I sit in the backyard and under the gazebo, and I do my phone calls and work. It's great.
See, I really like it. There's at the end, David told me this. I'll leave you guys with this because I got to take off because I got a closing today and I got to drive all the way to Egypt to go get to it. And
Oh,
So David told me this. He said, when you're on your deathbed, will you care that you took that time to take care of yourself, mind, soul, body, spirit, or will you care that you cranked out another, what? I don't know, whatever you wanted to crank out instead, dishes, who cares? And
Right.
it almost brought me to tears. I'm like, yes, I will definitely care if I didn't do it. So that's why I'm going to commit to doing it. So no grind, no agenda, no nothing. Pad of paper and pen if you want it. I actually kind of prefer not, because it just continues. Instead of putting the thought down, it lets my brain continue to work around it and look at it from different directions. And I never know where stuff's going to end up. But much of the really good work in my life has come out of being aware. And even if it wasn't profound, even the little tiny, the miracles and the chance encounters and the things that are in front of us all the time, like the happiest three-legged dog in the entire world, those things are important and we miss them because we put a filter on and we're in a rush to get somewhere. And I think it's important to really pay attention to what is going on around you and really see it, like really, really see it. So
I'm all about that.
yep. So Bree, thank you for bringing that up. That was a good one.
Thank you.
Yep.
Thanks for all the input, guys.
You only got me telling me a story until you're right. Well, no, you got everybody else too, actually. But I monopolized.
Monopolized.
Oh, I so need coffee.
Oh,
All right, you guys. I am continually blessed by being with you all, and I appreciate you guys so much. And I look forward to tomorrow when I have more sleep underneath my belt.
Like,
Get some sleep.
I'm going to.
yes.
See you in a bit.
All right.
Bye.
Bye, guys.